Today we're going to show you how to install the optional TRX-4 LED Light Kit. To start, you will need some basic tools: needle nose pliers, side cutters, an RC body reamer, and 1.5mm, 2mm, and 2.5mm hex tools. Visit Traxxas.com to see all available light kits. We will install the headlights and taillights, rock lights, LED lighting module, and the roof-mounted light bar. Start by removing the 1.5mm screws from the fender flare. Repeat this step for each of the 4 fender flares. Once the fender flares are removed, you can remove the inner fenders from the body. The rear inner fenders require removal of 2 screws towards the rear of the body. Next step, remove the 3 screws from the rear of each headlight assembly using your 1.5mm hex tool. Once the headlights are removed, you can move on to the taillight removal. Remove the screws holding the taillight assembly together and set them aside. Now we can install the headlights and taillights. Start by placing the headlight buckets in the cutouts on the body. Install the headlights individually to ensure proper fit. Replace the 3 screws in the rear of each housing. The taillights require the same assembly process. Place the LED taillight buckets in the cutouts provided. Replace the screws in the rear of the taillight assemblies. Now we will install the rock lights. Be sure to orient the inner fenders with the body to ensure proper fit. Remove the screws from each inner fender. Once the screws are removed, you can remove the rock light covers pre-installed on the inner fenders. Set these aside with the screws. Place the rock lights in the square cutouts on the inner fenders. Once you're happy with the layout and wire placement, take the 2mm driver and replace the screws you removed earlier. Continue this process for each individual rock light, 8 in total. Now you can reinstall the inner fenders on the body. Be sure to check the markers on the inner fenders to ensure proper orientation. Place the inner fenders on the body and make sure everything fits properly. With the inner fenders in place, you can reinstall the fender flares. Be sure to line the screw holes up with the holes in the body before inserting the screws to ensure a clean install and no scratches on the body. Be careful not to over-tighten the screws. With all 4 fender flares installed and the inner fenders back in place, you can now replace the 2 screws at the rear of the rear inner fenders. Now let's tidy up the wiring. Wire ties are included to secure the wires to anchor points along the inside of the body. Take your time and ensure that the wires are neatly tucked away. Once the ties are in place, you can trim the excess with side cutters, but make sure not to cut any of the wires. Now we will install the light bar on the roof of the body. A body reamer will ensure a clean hole to pass the wires through the body. Be careful with body reamers as they're very sharp. After you've reamed the wire routing hole in the roof, pass the roof light wires through the hole. With the light bar wires passed through, you can now install the light bar. Install the 2 screws to secure the light bar to the cage. Connect the plug for the dimmer switch on the light bar. When connected, the switch on the light bar can brighten or dim the lights. Now we will install the LED lighting module to the chassis. Take the module and place it on the standoffs next to the ESC. Next, you will take the black wire from the module and connect it to the ESC. For the next step, we are going to take the long red wire from the module and connect it to the receiver. For this step, you will need to remove the screws from the battery tray and the screws from the receiver box. Run the long red wire from the module under the battery tray. Carefully snip the original wire tie on the wiring and replace it with the new one to wrap around the new wire. Reinstall the hardware in the battery tray, making sure not to pinch any of the wiring. Remove the receiver box cover and wire clamp. Use a hex tool to gently push the red wire connector through the wire clamp and into the receiver portion of the receiver box. Pull most of the excess wire up into the receiver box, but leave enough slack in the red wire to finish the installation with ease. Once all the wires are routed into the receiver box, install the red plug into channel 1 on the receiver. Replace the receiver housing, ensuring that the blue gasket stays in place. See the related video for more information on how to properly seal a receiver box. Connect all wiring from the body to the 3-in-1 harness and connect this to the lighting module. Secure any excess wiring with wire ties. For more tips and tricks, subscribe to Traxxas Support here on YouTube.